Righty. Awesome. Well, happy Monday. We've got a couple things today. Uh, Sorry, missed you Wednesday. I didn't push the button. I thought I did. I plugged it in. All right, how about now? Thank you. Um, so we got to talk about Project 3, the final project. If we get to inheritance today, I think we'll get to the basics of it, is my hope. I don't think it'll take that long for the projects. Um, We don't have to go super deep in inheritance. This is a topic we pick up and do a whole project on next semester. So we sort of like introduce this is what it looks like. Here's some of the basic concepts, and then we'll go a little further. And then next week is Thanksgiving break, believe it or not. So chapter 13 for Zybooks won't be due until the 1st of December. Um, we'll just like pretend that week doesn't exist. So if you want to take the time off, go for it. If you want to work ahead, go for it. Either way should work here. So we go add chapter 13 here. Chapter 13. So it's December 1st. We're looking at December already. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. Time is flying by. So no submission for this one here. There we go. All right. So do you want to do the project first? All right. Let's do it. Let's do project 3. Okay. Unit tests for classes using shopping cart and item, where shopping cart is a list of items, essentially, right? So we fire up PyCharm here. And then using our string function is really fun. String method, getting a nice looking string output. It's pretty handy. And that's really the only thing we need to unit test because get total price is used by string, right? So testing that separately is not really worth anything because we're already going to test it as part of string. So if you do them separate, fantastic. Bonus points, sure. But the string will cover that. And then shopping carts, receipt gets a string of all of those things, adds them together, and the total price, right? We don't need to, so add some items, but they'll show up on the receipt, right? That's the only way we have to know what's in the shopping cart is by looking at the receipt here, okay? So we start a new project. Why is this one so slow? This combined version is so much slower than the community version. I'm so sad. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Project 3. I guess this way they get to push the trial though every time, right? 'Cause they want to make money off their tool. I get it. That's probably fair. I have time for coffee then. Does anyone want any coffee? I, I made it early enough to make a pot before my 11 o'clock class, which is good. Means it's going to be a good day. All right. So if you want to use modules, we can use modules. That's kind of fun, right? Why not? So a module is just a file, right? So let's have this be shopping cart. Oh, sorry, that should all be lowercase, right? Let me rename this. Shopping cart. That's probably right. I forget here. I will have class shopping cart. Shopping cart. And then we need item as well. So make a new file for item. Why does it not like shopping cart? What's wrong? Oh, because sorry, I never finished writing the class here. That's all right. Class for item, define our init. Now, item, right, has quantity, name, and unit price. We need set and get methods for quantity and unit price. We shouldn't change the name, right? Once the name is set, we shouldn't change it. So for sure, we have to take name in the init here. Why not take the other ones as well, right? And that we don't have to set and get them here. So we'll take a name, quantity, and a unit price. Right, and then this dot name is the name. Oops, sorry, I was just doing C++ here. This dot quantity self. Oh my goodness, this is messing me up doing C++ to Python. Quantity and self dot unit price is the unit price. Now we could do some sanity checking, right? Price should be positive and not zero, right? That'd be a good thing to check here. Did we get to exceptions yet? We did exceptions, right? Exceptions to modules. We did those. Yes. Okay. So the right thing to do here then is to raise an exception, and we should probably check quantity as well, right? That it's not zero because 0 is not a valid amount to buy here, right, and not negative. So both of these need to be not negative. Um, Now, I'm also going to have a set quantity and set unit price function because I can change the price of an item and I can change how many I want in my cart or of this item as I go. I don't want to have the same code twice. Right? That should make me feel bad about myself if that same code twice. So if I'm going to have a set function that does the sanity checking, I'll just use the set function, right? So we can say, okay, let's do a set quantity given a quantity. Now this one can do the sanity checking. Hey, if quantity is less than or equal to 0, I'm going to raise a value error. Invalid quantity. Invalid quantity, right? Otherwise, self.quantity is the quantity, right? And then I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I can just call set quantity given the quantity. Quantity, yeah. That's fine. Add a field quantity to class item. No, I don't want that. That's fine. It's technically a little bit improper to add these outside of init. Oh, there we go. Init. Oh my goodness. Um, it's not the end of the world here. So probably the right thing to do is to set the quantity to blank and then come set it here, and it would stop yelling at me. But it's not the end of the world. And we'll do the same for unit price, right? You define set unit price, give it a unit price, and if the unit price is less than or equal to 0, invalid unit price, right? Less than or equal to 0 is bad. Other than that, those are fine. Okay. And then I'm going to use my function here, right? Set unit price, given the unit price. Again, it's just warning me it's not the end of the world here. Then we need the gets. We don't have the generate getters. Why do I not have generate? Their other tool has it for the language. That's silly. That's fine. Define get name turn self.name. Define get quantity turn self.quantity. Define a get unit price turn self.unit price. Okay. There we wrote the gets. That wasn't too bad. All right, there's my class for item. The other thing it needs to do then is have the string representation. How do we represent this item as a string? Project 3, thank you. Click the right one here. Right, set and gets. Oh, get total price as well. Sorry, so we need to get total price. So define get total price. Return self.unit price times self.quantity. Now, these ones probably should be marked as private, right? Because I don't want them to change outside of my set function here. As if I just give them public access, someone can go change the quantity directly to -7 without hitting this invalid quantity mark, right? So we're going to rename this one here. So refactor or rename here to underscore quantity to mark it as a hidden value, a private value here. Again, they still can change it, but just like if you open up a package and void the warranty, if you start modifying private attributes here, you voided the warranty of the class. It probably won't do what you expect it to do anymore. Right? We'll do the same with name, refactor, rename, name, and unit price. Rename, add the underscores here. Just a good practice here. Mark these things as private attributes so that no one goes and modifies them directly here. And then a string here, underscore, underscore, str, underscore, underscore. It's the right one if it shows up purple. And we get our little @ override here saying, hey, it overrides the version from object. That doesn't mean anything until we talk about it today, inheritance, but that's what's happening here. So we're going to return a cool formatted string of quantity item at unit price dash total price. A little bit wordy, but that's okay here. So we want this to be self.quantity, quantity, and this is self.name, self.name at $ unit price, self.unit price, each 210, self.get total price. Right? You don't even have to do the arithmetic again. We already know how to do you could do the arithmetic here, or you can call your function. Both ways work. Right? You'll get the exact same result here. But that's our string here. So quantity of this item at this unit price dash, here's the total price. Right? That's item. Now, how do we know item works? Well, let's go test it. right? So let's go to test. I don't have any tests yet. Yeah, please make some new tests. Great. We want to really none of those. All I want to do is test the string because when I make one, it's going to go set them all. So the sets are done. It will get the total price as part of the string function. That's another reason to use the function there, right? So that I can just test the string function. Because it's possible I typoed it one of those places. I screw up a lot. So um, it's always good to test our stuff here. So I'm just going to put one of these in here, but I'm really going to change it to testing string here. So from item, import item. This is test item string. Sure, why not? We're going to arrange. We're going to act. And we're going to assert. Right? So what do we have? What do we expect to get here? So our expected string then is 7 bananas at 30 cents each for 210. I'll just use that one, right? Why not? And then we need an item to test here, right? So we need our item is an item given bananas 7.3, right? Cool. We have the item. Act. Then our actual string is a string of the item. Right? You call this string function. Turn this into a string, please. It turns it into a string, and I can self.assert equals my expected string and my actual string. Is this going to work? No, it's not going to work. Why is it not going to work? Well, what does a match? 7 bananas at 0.3 slash each to 2.1 does not equal 7 bananas at 30 cents each for $2.10. Right? I didn't do my rounding. Okay, sure. Let's go add that in here. Right? So in my item class, if you forgot how to do it, that's okay. Just go look it up. It's not really worth it here, but colon 0.2f, 2 decimal places as a floating point number. I really should not have that in my head, but it's there. 0.2f. Okay, come back, run my test again. Uh-oh, we're close. 7 bananas at 30 cents each, dash 210. Oh, I've got an extra space here somewhere. Where do I have 0? So I don't have the leading 0 here. Right? So if I need a leading 0, I think I put it on that side of the decimal place. I think. Maybe we have to Google that one. That one I might need to Google. Let's try it again. Nope. Isn't it there? 1? Did I put a 1 there? What's the... Okay, I don't know. Let's go Google it then. Python get leading 0 for decimal places. I can't even spell right. Let's see if they understand me here. 02D? No. And a leading 0. Is that it? Had a number with leading zeros? I don't want to fill. That seems dumb. Oh, F strings. Oh my goodness. Stop at the ads. Goodness. 05. Fill it. Okay. So 01 to get at least 1 0. 0 is my pad. I want one of them, I think. Is that the format? No. Shoot. I'm sorry?
Just delete the 0.
Delete. Oh, from the I wanted to have the 0, right? That's what I said it should be here. Um,
I just added 0 somewhere else because I don't know why it worked, but
oh, there's a way to do it. What's the number formatting here? Format. Oh my goodness. Why is that so ugly? Yeah, right here. 0 total width.
no, they add that.
Well, so that you can change the total width, right? You can say how many you want it to be here. So it should be 0.02. Oh, 0.3. So 3 digits total? Is that it? Oh, shoot. Not that button. This button. No? 4.
Why not just copy and paste what it's giving you, the actual expected, and then ask.
How to get it? Oh, okay. Now I'm getting too many here.
Or you're fixing the wrong one.
Oh my goodness. You guys. Have I been doing the... Okay. No wonder you're telling me I'm dumb. I'm not had enough coffee. So my actual has it, the expected does not have it.
That's probably why when you were doing it correct, we wouldn't have noticed.
Oh, I got you. Oh, so we don't want the leading zero. Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, no leading zero for decimal palaces. Oh my goodness. Without trail, I don't want trailing zeros. I want without a leading zero. Look at that. DNM tech. Wow. :.2f formatted string decimal. No, that's not without a leading zero. None of these examples have a leading zero. Oh, this one has the leading zero, but that's the leading zero. That isn't that a leading zero?
Yeah,
The internet is dumb.
without the leading zero. So I'm assuming it's saying it'll be that without that. I don't know.
But it's not. We're getting it with the formatted string here. Wow. All right, you're right. I'm just gonna give up here. Yes. Done. Fixed. It passes. I mean, this is a better output anyway, right? Don't you want a leading zero? I think that's a better output here. So that's my bad. No one emailed me about it, so hopefully you didn't spend like an hour Googling it here. Okay. Great. So item we're pretty happy with. Right. Shopping cart then. Define init here. Self.items as a private attribute here equals a list. Define add item. Given an item. Now, if you want, you can say it's an item here, but it's like, what's an item here? So let's go import, no, oh my goodness, here. From item, import item. No, item, lowercase item, import item. Like, as a suggestion here, right? These are the type suggestions. They're optional. This is a slightly newer feature. Some people are using it a lot. Some people aren't here. We'll take self.items. We'll add or append the item. Done. Right? So shopping cart's kind of boring. The only other thing it does here then is receipt. Returns a string with each of those things and a grand total. Right? So define a receipt here. So I have a total that starts at 0, right? And then for item in my item in self.items. We also need the I don't know, value or string or result. Sure, result starts as an empty string here. We're going to take result, add to it here the string of an item plus a new line character, right? So we can add in a new line character, right? Because we want it to go down a line, right? At the end of all of that here, we want to add in then result. Oh, I'm sorry, we got to add in the total plus equals the item dot get total price, right? Then we're done. We'll take our result plus equals the, I don't know, grand total $, total price, colon 0.2f, right? Cool. And then we return result when we're done. That's all receipt does. So let's go test it. Does it work? I don't know. Let's go find out. Go to test. You want to make new tests? Yes, please. Make new tests. Test receipt. Great. Test receipt. We're going to arrange. We're going to act. We're going to assert. Okay. So from shopping cart, import shopping cart. Great. So we need a shopping cart. Cart equal to shopping cart. Okay. And then we need to add some items. So cart dot add item, given an item. Yeah, from item, import item. What do you want to do? Bananas, 7 of them at 0.3. And cart dot add item. What else should we buy? Should we buy coffee, right? Coffee, like 3 of them and $2.99 each, right? And then an expected receipt then. Now, did I show you guys, or have you seen the triple quote here? I think Zybooks does it occasionally here. So a triple quote lets you just put text in, and it'll look exactly as in the triple quotes, and you can have multiple lines. So you don't have to add in your own new lines here. Um, the formatting of it is a little weird. I can never remember where it starts, though, so sometimes I'm off a line. So I think it's this one here. Let's go grab our bananas here. And then down on the next line, I want it all the way to the left because I don't want any tabbed in. So it's a little funky for the very first line, but that's okay. Now, 3 coffee at $2.99 each for, oh, and a dollar sign, right? So that'll be $8.97, and then a grand total of, is that 10, 1107? 1107? Probably it. And then I think my triple quote would end there because there's not a new line after that here. I think. Then my actual receipt is my shop cart dot receipt here. And do they match? Self dot assert equal, my expected receipt and the actual receipt. All right, is this one going to work on the first try? Oh, worked. Wow, I did not expect that to work that well. So triple quote's a nice little shortcut. Um, and it's a little funky, but it's not the end of the world here. Uh, right, right, unit test for item and shopping cart. Done. Last part then, our program that actually lets them use it. Right, add some items, keep on the loop until they're done. Now we have some code in main. Right, I haven't written any code in main here. Nothing that the user would see here. Now we can go and do it. So from shopping cart, import shopping cart, and from item, import item. Right. So we'll make a cart. That cart is a shopping cart. And I don't know, their item name, while item name does not equal quit. And maybe like lower this one, right? Lower, does not equal quit. We'll ask them for an item name. Sure. So we'll get an item name. Name equals an input of enter an item to buy or quit. And then if my item name does not equal quit, and again, lower it. Geez, that's fine. I feel bad, but that's okay. Um, then I get to do the rest of it here. Then we get the quantity equals an int of an input, quantity, and a unit price, or unit price is a float of an input, unit price, and then we'll make an item. So my cart dot add item, given an item, given the item name, quantity, and the unit price. And then we keep on going. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Once they quit here, when this loop is done, then we can we'll print the cart.receipt. Right? Okay, let's give it a try. Oops, I want to run this one here. We'll just right click, run main. Right, bananas, 7 of them, 30 cents each. Coffee, 3 of them, $2.99 each. Quit. 7 bananas at 30 cents each, 3 coffees at grand total. Life seems pretty good. All right, so I think we hit everything we needed on the rubric, right? Item class, shopping cart class, unit tests, program lets you shop, prints a receipt. Okay, that makes sense? Feel good? Cool. Hey, we got 9 submissions in. Hooray. Awesome. And I think I marked it down if I'm going to give you a bonus point because you had it in on time. So don't let me forget. Commit that to GitHub. 1501, 3. And if you put your classes all in one file, your tests all in one file, that's perfectly fine. I like separate files. I just like it. Not everyone does. That's okay. It doesn't hurt anything one way or the other. All right. Let's talk about the final project. All right. Do you guys like games? All right. I like games. So I give game projects. When I got the choice. I get a new link for you here. Eventually that thing will load probably. 501, final project. Can't spell my own last name, that's sad. Template. Yes. All right. And private. All right. I'm sad Google failed us, but that's okay. Or it was actually Bing failed us. It wasn't Googling. But Bing buys me free coffee, so I'm easily bought. uh, no, that why is that in the wrong section here? Did I screw this up? I did screw this one up for you guys. I'm sorry. Hang on one sec. This is midterm, and I need a new group for final project. I didn't. Oh my goodness, I didn't have the weights for you here. Sorry. Um, 10, so 30, 10, and 40, right? 10%, 10%, 30, 10, and 40. Is that right? Sounds right. All right, now the scores will look right in Canvas. My apologies. I thought I had that in there before for you. Here's final project. So this is due then. Is it are we the 15th or the 17th? I had to look again here. The 17th? All right, and we're 12:30, something like that. Okay. Um, 40 points for this one. Or no, it's 11:30, right? 11:30 to 2:30, I think is the slot. Because you're either 8 to 11, and we're not 8. 11:30 to 2:30, 3 to 6, or 6:30 to 9:30. Because who doesn't want 4 final exams in a day? I'm sorry? Yeah, there's a your barn exam schedule. Look at that. I Google it often enough. Uh, that's not the right one here. Academic calendar, important dates. All. Where's the final exam schedule? This really should be easier to find. Final exams, scheduling, final exam study days. Wow, what the heck? I swear this was easier to find before. It's the catalog, final exam schedule. That's for main U of M, that's not us. Events, examinations. Oh my goodness. Wow, why can I not find this? I found it before. I swear I did. Office of the registrar, scheduling final exams, policy, final exams and study dates. That's the policy. You found the schedule?
Yeah.
Wait, how am I not finding it? Final exam dates.
Right. It's saying that it would be Monday. And it'd be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
8 to 10? That doesn't seem right. What? I can't even search here?
Exactly. When Monday is the first class meeting of the week. And then if the Monday class time is either 12 or 12:30, then the exam date is Monday, December 15th, and the exam time is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
8 to 10?
All I
No,
had
that's not right. Hang on.
was final exam times you missed Dearborn, and it was the third no count.
Final exam times English. Dearborn.
It's final exam schedule, that third one right there.
So this is U of M. This is not Dearborn.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, I found the thing before. I don't know why I can't find it. Oh, I'm so sad. We've got the dates here. Exam schedule. I know we have it. I'm really sad I can't find it now. Academic calendar, important dates. We looked at this one already. That's deadlines. Oh, wait. I just had to scroll down further. There it is. Final exam schedule. Goodness gracious. Final exam for the fall. All right, here it is. This is the thing I was looking for, finally. So our class is a 12:30, so we fall under the 12 for Monday. So we're in J here. So J is Wednesday the 17th, 11:30. Okay, I had it right.
That's better.
Phew.
Okay, yeah.
1 month exactly from now, we have our final exam. But you get final presentations instead of exams because, in my humble opinion, exams are stupid. I care if you can code. I don't care if you can answer questions, right? That proves nothing to me. So you'll write a project. It'll be fun. All right, all of that. Goodness. So we could get that done. Wow, that was a fun exercise. Okay, here's our GitHub repository. Let me shamelessly copy paste here. Give me a second. Over here. Okay. If you'd like to work with a partner, please feel free. You're going to do the same project because it's actually more work to coordinate with someone else, right? Than just doing it yourself and not having to deal with who's doing what and breaking it up and making sure their stuff doesn't break your stuff and your stuff doesn't break their stuff. And um, you will have forced group projects in your future, right? But hopefully you look forward to that because working all by yourself, being the only developer on a team is really lonely and sad. It's nice to have colleagues. It's nice to have other smart people you can bounce ideas off of to get a better product here. Right. I don't know if I mentioned before, one of the best perks when I worked in the industry at my last job was that I was not the smartest person in the room because there were smart people I could learn from and who could help me get better at what I was doing. The previous place I was before then, I was the smartest person in the room. I had a colleague who worked in the same suite as me, and I worked a later shift. I was like 10 to 6 because I hated mornings. I've always hated mornings. And he would tell me tickets would come in, and he would hear my colleagues on my team be like, oh, we'll just wait for Eric to come fix it. It's like, sure, okay, that's fine. I could fix it in 15 minutes. It would have taken them an hour to fix, but you know, that if you never take your time to fix these things, you never get better at it. Right? You never develop your skills. So as you enter the workforce as junior developers, junior data scientists at the junior level, right, you'll have smart people you can learn from. Right? We don't expect juniors to do it all because they're juniors. We know that, right? People with 20 plus years experience, they're the senior people who've done all these things, have that experience. They kind of know some of these things, right? Great. That's sort of how the world works. We understand that. All right. Self-assessment using the rubric. Um, so for a couple reasons here, and I'll tell them both to you here, you must have at least 10 commits over 10 different days of working code each time. It must run here. Okay. Reason number one, it gets you to start early. Okay. Reason number two, it's really hard to copy paste an answer from ChatGPT into 10 working sections. Okay, I'm going to be honest. That's one of the reasons. I used to say just 10 commits, and then I got a tenth of a file and a tenth of a file and a tenth of a file, and the only thing that ever changed was code was added. And at one point, they just added like half of a function. I'm like, you really stopped like halfway through this function and you never got to the return statement. They're like, oh yeah, I was going to finish it tomorrow. It's like, I mean, yeah, I have a Snorlax hat, but I don't have stupid written on my head, right? I get how this works here. So working code, right? We want to develop things incrementally, small bits, do your functional decomposition, break down big problems into small problems, save the small problems for later, right? Tackle one small problem at a time, make it run. Tackle small problem at a time, make it run. Tackle small problem at a time, make it run. Yeah. I'm open to that. Just chat with me. Um, ideally, you can save some, right? Like, don't like do a 12-hour day, right? I enjoy this sort of stuff. I like that it's like solving puzzles. I would do that sort of thing. Um, well, let's try and like do a little bit at a time. Get up and go for a walk, right? That sort of thing. Get some fresh air. That idea.
Has to take us 10 days to complete.
At least 10 days. So yeah, a little chunk over 10 different days. So we've got a month. So it's like every 3 days you do a little bit of work. Or, over the next 10 days you finish it and you have 20 days to just sit and do nothing. Right. So we're just tackling it chunk by chunk by chunk. Get a chunk done and let it sit. Let it marinate, let it stew, put it in the crock pot, your slow cooker, right? Just let it sit. That's the goal, right? Um, I'm flexible here. Now, if I say 10 and I get 7, I can be relatively happy with 7. But if I say 7, then I get 4, I'm like, that's not really good, right? So 10's the goal. Work with me here, right? If we can get 7, 8, 9, I'm probably going to be okay with it, but chat with me, right? The goal is 10. My written policy is 10, right? Again, it's for your benefit to start early. It's for my benefit to make sure people don't just copy paste a solution in. And really, this is how people write code. You write a little bit at a time, you get it working, you add a feature. You write a little bit of code, you get it working, you add a feature. You write a little bit of code, you get it working, you add a feature, right? This is the right way people develop stuff, right? So it's also training that. So there's a couple benefits, right? All right. Then to what we're doing, we're going to build a very basic version of Monopoly, one of my favorite board games of all time here. But we're going to do basic things. So there's no chance cards, no community chest cards. They're just blank spaces here because dealing with all the cards gets to be a little bit tricky here. And again, this is just our basic version here. Uh, so when the program starts, we're going to ask them, do you want a new game or to load a game? This is a great feature to leave for later, right? Have it say, do you want a new game or load game? But load game does nothing. That's okay, right? We'll just have the menu there. We'll come back to that feature later. We can just always, it's always a new game. It's always a new game, right? As we start. So new games are how many players? 2 to 8 players. Okay. Players take turns going around the board spending money. If you land on the property that isn't owned, you can buy it if you have enough money. If someone owns it, other than you, right, a different player, you have to pay the rent to the owner. Right? That's how Monopoly works here. If you run out of money, you're out of the game. So when you lose, you can either couple options, set the property back to unowned or give it all to the player they lost to. This is probably the more proper way to do it here, but we don't need to worry about mortgaging property and getting money back and things like that. Whichever one you want here. Perfectly fine. Set it either way here. Um, and then we're going to have at least 2 classes here. We're going to have a player class that has their name or number. You can just do numbers if you want. You can ask for names. Either way works here. We're going to have their cash here. They start with $1,500 and their current space. Right? If you have a list of spaces here, right? Index 0, index 1, index 2, right? What index number are you on? Right? We can just use 40 spaces. It doesn't have to actually be a 2-dimensional array, right? Because it's just easier to just have 40 spaces, right? We'll just visualize it wrapping around the board here. And we'll have a property class. It has the name of the property, it has the purchase amount, it has the rent amount, and it has the owner's name or number, right? How do we know who owns this one? Or if it's blank, I know it's not owned. I can go buy it if I land on it, right? For jail, just have them go to the jail space. Uh, so just have them pay $50 to get out immediately here. So there's a go-to jail space. If a player rolls doubles 3 times in a row, they go to jail. Otherwise, doubles an extra turn. So if you roll 2 1s or 2 2s or 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s, you get another turn after that turn. But if it happens 3 times in a row, you go to jail. You don't get that third turn, right? Or fourth turn, right? Turn 1, doubles turn 2. Yeah, no third turn, right? Doubles, yeah. I can't count here. So just have them pay $50. Usually you have to roll doubles to get out of jail and you get 3 tries, but tracking all of that gets to be extra harder stuff that, again, more complicated than we need to at this point here. And then the list of properties here. That's stupid link there. I've got a website here that listed all the properties here. We're not going to do houses and hotels. Usually if you have all the properties of a given color, you can build houses on it for a certain price here, and that jacks up the rent and things like that. But that's, again, probably more complicated than we need to here. So we'll just skip that for now. That make sense? Okay. And then at some point, right, in here, we have the option to save the game, right? Like, hey, player, do you want to roll or save the game? Is probably the right place to put it in here. If you want to wait until all the players have gone before you have given them the option to save, that's okay too, right? That way we only ever load with player 1 starting. That's okay, right? Any way you want to go about it is up to you here. I'm okay with those simple little shortcuts, right? That's okay. But this should give us a little chunk here every time to get a little bit working and a little bit working and a little bit working and a little bit working here, right? You can have properties and not even deal with rent. You're like, okay, I just have my list of properties. When you land on it, I'm not going to change the amount of money anybody has, right? Because I have to go look up my player, I have to go look up their player, I have to take the money away from me, I have to add the money to them. There's a couple steps involved there, right? We can save that for another day, another feature, another commit, right? Oh, how do I buy a property? Well, I'm just going to land on it right now. I'll worry about buying property another time, right? There's ways we can take the big problem and break it into small problems, right? That part makes sense? So we've got the next month to work on this here. Again, at least 10 days worth of commits here with working code each time. And then what we'll do on final project presentation day is you'll get it up and you'll run it. You'll show us you can start a game, you'll show us you can save the game, you'll show us you can load the game. It's really hard to lose Monopoly if you don't have houses and hotels. That's part of this idea. If someone buys up all the property and then jacks up the rent because they have the monopoly, they can jack up rent and make people go bankrupt. That is one of the sad illustrations of the game. And at some point, if you own enough property, you can buy the entire supply of houses so no one else can even build a house. If you're feeling particularly mean when you play Monopoly, I had older siblings. I was the youngest one, and they would always do these things to me. So that's another fun strategy that happens if you let someone have that much of a supply of a market. They can completely shut other people out from buying houses and building houses, and then they have no chance of ever making more money. And all they're ever going to do is go around the board making $200 at a time, hoping not to go bankrupt. Right? It's a very depressing game here. Probably less depressing than Hangman, though. Right? I don't know which one's a worse children's game.
Definitely.
Hangman. Well, but which one is more depressing to have a child play? You play a game till you run out of money and go bankrupt, and you have to give all of your possessions to someone else. Or like play this game till you kill someone. This one is more drawn out.
Just not realizing that Monopoly is like having show.
Yes.
That's fine.
I know, I never like thought about it.
They designed it to intentionally like poke or not poke fun, like point out how bad capitalism was, and then it turned out to be a hit game. Like that's not what I was trying to do. That afterwards. So actually,
Oh.
So
Um, so the other really interesting thing, just I don't really understand social sciences very well. It's not my jam. My wife likes that sort of stuff. She did psychology, sociology, but they did a study here where they essentially played a version of Monopoly, where some of the people started with a bunch of money and some of the people started with less money. And after they played for a while, the people who started with more money did better. And at the end of the game, they're like, "Hey, was this game fair or not?" The people who started with more money were more likely to say, "Yes, it was a fair game." They were just better at it. And I don't know how that happens in someone's head, but that's another illustration of how things work in the real world with capitalism. If you start with more money, you do better. And you're like, "Oh, I'm just good at the game. Poor people suck at the game." But they started with less money. So weird stuff happens in people's heads. So this is a fun little illustration. The next thing, I want to show you a video here. And I can't record it here, but I'll play the video. I'll put the link in as well. Why we're doing this, I know this doesn't feel very data science-y, but the next step is once we have working code that simulates a game, we can simulate it and do stuff in code to figure out what would happen when it's really hard to solve mathematically. So there's actually a mathematical solution for which property is landed on the most in Monopoly. I have no idea how that math works. Right? But I can write a Monopoly simulation with properties and dice and just play the game 10,000 times and see how many times each property was landed on to figure out which one is landed on the most. I can simulate something that's hard to math, right? And if we can do that, we can solve or simulate interesting problems to get good data out, right? Hey, I don't know how to do the math for these sorts of things, but I can model it and I can run my model 50 million times and see what happens with the model. Right? There's some really interesting charts if you're into finance. I forget who does it now. They have like a little graph of like, hey, stock prices, and they're like, hey, there's a 50% chance it'll land within this range. There's a 90% chance it'll be within this range because they run a bunch of different simulations. Like, hey, here's all the historical. This is what's happened before. These are different things that can happen and go up and go down. We can model these sorts of things here to get a better prediction for what we think will happen in the future. So there's a video. It's one of the math channels here, Veritasium. I forget who does a little Monopoly simulation. Um, I forget which guy it is who does it here, and I'll show you that video. It's lots of fun. So he does the Python code to simulate it here, and he actually uses the go-to card. So chance and community chest can send you to certain properties, so that increases your chance of going to that property because there's a chance you get that card and those sorts of things here. But we'll go from there. So does that make sense for this? All right, awesome. So I'm going to stop the recording. We'll play that video. And oh, we didn't get to inheritance. That's okay. We can get to inheritance on Wednesday because we don't need to go super deep into the topic here. And then we've got Thanksgiving week off. Right, so we can finish inheritance on the 20th. We'll be off for Thanksgiving week. We'll pick up some of the interesting topics here from chapters 14 and 15 on the first here. Um, I'm not gonna give points for these chapters in Zybooks here because we're just kind of demoing some of them. They go pretty quick, but I won't give you points for doing these ones here, so you don't have to go through all of them. We just kind of hit some of the highlights for those ones here. So we'll do lab on the first We'll probably cover inheritance and maybe an interesting little fun thing here. So how about no lab today? You can just catch up on whatever you missed, or if you're not done with last week's lab, you can finish that up today. Because we didn't get to inheritance yet, but that should be okay. That make sense? All right, awesome. So let me play that video. Come to lab, finish it up if you want. Work on, get started. Right, get your first commit in today for the final project if you want, something like that. If you're working in pairs, let me know your GitHub usernames, and I can get you shared access to the same repository, so you can both commit, push, and pull to it. Or you can email files back and forth. You can use Google Drive. I don't care. I would recommend Git, but sometimes it's a little bit tricky. But anyway, you want to make that work is fine. Just let me know. Okay. All right. So I'll stop recording so I can play that YouTube video.